This is my second time recording this because I fucked up. And for some reason, the last recording was completely mute. So, we're speeding through this. Episode 4. Episode 4. Hitoshi was, or was it 5? I don't know, don't rely on me, rely on the title. Hitoshi was the first to push into the apartment and turn the lights on. Izuku was right behind him, eyes scanning across the back of the couch, drifting to the floor. He's probably laying on the kitchen table. Hitoshi helpfully supplied. The corner of his lip was quirked up as he watched Izuku kick off his shoes and ventured to the kitchen. Psyche, Hitoshi's cat, was laying exactly where his owner had guessed, curled. Give me a second because I have horrible sight today. Today is a bad sight day. Unfortunately, today is a day where I can't read. Reading is not an option in this household. Hitoshi's cat was laying exactly where his owner had guessed, curled up on the old wooden kitchen table, laying right where the sun would shine around mid-afternoon. There's the fluffy boy, Izuku declared, crouching down beside the table. Now eye level with Psyche, Izuku reached his hand out, letting it drift through the soft tufts of fur across Psyche's back. The cat purred gently, his eyes cracking open slightly to observe the pair before shutting again. Psyche, as a cat, hardly cared when humans entered his house. There were only ever 5 of them: his father, the green one, the one who always zapped him when they touched, the one with the cat toy-like ears, and the loud, warm one. And their arrival usually meant he was getting food and attention. Hitoshi toed off his shoes and followed after Izuku, reaching down to ruffle the fur on Psyche's head. Do you want to fill his food bowl while I find something for us to eat? Hitoshi asked. Give me a second. Hitoshi asked. Psyche rather intelligently perked up when Hitoshi mentioned food. Izuku giggled at the sight. Yeah. Do you still keep the food in the laundry room? Izuku asked, standing back up. I do. Hitoshi said. His bowl is over there, too. His bowl is still over there, too, he added, gesturing to the corner of the kitchen. Izuku hummed in response, picking up Psyche's bowl before he walked to the laundry room. Hitoshi's apartment, despite being a bit dark, was well furnished and full of life if you really looked. Cat toys were left on the floor, their bright colors a sharp contrast from Hitoshi's dark walls and carpet. Carpet? Yeah, carpet. Give me a second. I lost my place. Fuck! The hallway leading to the laundry room had framed pictures hung in it. Izuku recognized a few of them from places he had gone with Hitoshi. One was of 1A, hanging out, the picture taken by an outstretched arm of Shoji's. The final was a graduation photo. Hitoshi stood in front of the school gates in his hero costume. On one side of him was Nezu, standing on a box to fit into the frame. On the other side was Aizawa, who had a firm hand on Hitoshi's shoulder, a proud smile gracing his face. Izuku smiled affectionately at the picture for a moment, thoughts of their school days coming back to him at once. He was pulled out of his walk down memory lane by Psyche, who headbutted Izuku into the shin for daring to take so long to feed him. With a chuckle, Izuku continued towards the laundry room. He pushed open the door, and Psyche ran right in ahead of him. Izuku followed him, and watching the cat make a beeline for the bag of cat food. Izuku didn't know that Psyche meant... If Izuku didn't know that Psyche meant the world to Hitoshi, he would have sworn that the man hadn't been feeding him. He recalled, while watching Psyche try to weasel his way into the bag, why Hitoshi had locked the cat food away in his laundry room. Psyche had chewed through the corner of the bag when it was in the kitchen and spilled the food pellets all over the tile floor. Something I mentioned in the original recording of this is that because of... Storm does this too. And he does this to an extent where I now keep his treats and other stuff in this cat mail, approved by cats. I open it, I have to slide it through the side. Open it this way, right? And then you have his cat treat. Is the second bag of that. He has not chewed on this yet, luckily. And then he had downed 3 of these gravies, and 2 of these these are the gourmet ones, I think. Because these are, I think, supposedly more healthy and probably cost more. Anyways, an example of his gluttony is this. You see that? You see that? You see all those puncture wounds? You see all that? You see? This is one of those Ziploc baggy thingies. So let me just Ziploc baggy together. It is Ziploc together. But no worry, because it still fucking opens. Because this is completely, the Ziploc part is completely separate from this part. From this part. So, now these treats could very much go to waste. Now, there's not many. And they're air dried. And like slowly we're going through them. Right? They're air dried treats. And their ingredients, I wish I was joking. Venison, venison liver, venison lung, venison blood, muscle digest, venison kidney, flaxseed, mix, I don't know how to say that, but it's very little ingredients and it's very good. Apparently it's from New Zealand. It's supposed to be really, really gourmet treats. And quite literally, it's literally just freeze-dried venison, which is a type of deer. Fuck! I really hurt me. Okay, that hurt. Whatever. Have to keep it in this. Otherwise, he bites it. And, yeah. This is where Storm's treats are for now. Ugh. Ooh, that hurt. That left an indent. Anyways, I'm shocked. Woo! Izuku filled the bowl with food and picked up Psyche, tucking the squirming cat under his arm. Psyche wasn't very pleased with the action. Hold on, Izuku murmured. I just need you out here so I could close the door. When the two were out, Izuku put Psyche on the floor. The cat walked a few steps and sat down, licking his paws as if washing the human off of it. Izuku shook the bowl slightly to grab Psyche's attention before walking back to the kitchen. Dinner is served, Izuku said, putting the bowl onto the floor. Back in the corner, Psyche eagerly ran over, beginning to eat. Thanks, Hitoshi said, smiling over at Izuku. Izuku hummed. No problem. Did you find anything good? Hot Pockets, Hitoshi offered. I think they're good. Works for me. What flavor? Hitoshi handed the empty box to Izuku as he started up the oven's air fryer. For me, meat. Izuku looked at the picture, nodding. I don't think I've had these before. Are they your favorite? Yeah, Hitoshi said. They taste good, and they've got a decent amount of protein. I gotta keep that muscle, Izuku said, lifting his arm to flex. The sleeve of his hoodie tightened around his arm, and he chuckled. Oh, hey, can I borrow some pajamas for tonight? I'll trade you your favorite hoodie for some different ones. He offered playfully. Hitoshi hummed, pretending to think about it. You can help yourself while I put these in the oven. He gestured to the 2 Hot Pockets he was loading on the pan. You don't need to give me back the hoodie either. It looks better on you. Izuku turned, walking out of the kitchen and down the hall, towards where Hitoshi's room was. He looked around the familiar room for a minute, taking in the pictures on his desk and the 2 cat trees that sat in opposite corners of the room. Izuku made his way to the closet, pushing the door open and quickly scanning the contents. He settled on a pair of gray and black sweatpants with a static pattern across them. After tying the drawstrings of the sweatpants, Izuku walked back out of Hitoshi's room, making sure to leave the door open so Saki could go lay down if he wanted to. On his way, his eyes caught on to an old grayish white sweatshirt with blue lettering draped across the back of Hitoshi's desk chair. With a smile, he picked it up, sliding it over his head. Hitoshi stood in front of the oven, silently watching the timer tick down, when Izuku walked in. You've got a lot of comfy-looking clothes, Izuku said, coming to stand beside Hitoshi. He replied. It's my favorite style, Hitoshi said with a smile. He surveyed what Izuku wore, eyes drifting over his outfit. That sweatshirt takes me back. Izuku nodded, looking down at the letter UA embroidered in the front. He received one at the start of his first year too, but it had been blown to pieces when he first began using All for One. Aizawa had replaced it for him, just like he had stitched Mina's back up when she burned a hole through hers, and now he helped Mashiro? Tail Dude create a comfortable hole in the sweatpants for his tail to stick out. Our class had lost a lot of them over the years, Izuku said fondly. I'm glad he replaced any of them accidentally ruined by a quirk use. Hitoshi nodded. Only me, Tenya, Masaru, and Toru have our original ones. Everyone else got theirs destroyed one way or another. Izuku chuckled. I don't think Aizawa was very happy with everyone when everyone made a game out of destroying as many as possible. I had to dodge a lot of attempts, Hitoshi said with a sigh. Katsuki and Mina were set on destroying me along with the sweatshirt, I think. The oven let out a chime, its timer having lapsed. Hitoshi stepped over to the oven, opening the door, and letting a heat of wave out as he pulled the food from it. Mina and Katsuki were definitely the winners, but I think if Ochako and Tenya had... That's Izuku. Mina and Katsuki were definitely the winners, but I think if Ochako and Tenya had participated, they would have been able to beat them. Like, if Tenya ran past and stole the sweatshirts, or Ochako floated it away, you're not getting it back. Izuku chuckled. What did I touch? Oh. Hitoshi let out a laugh of his own. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with anyone else on the regular. Katsuki trying to blow me and my sweater up every morning was enough. At least he only tried once a month. Once every morning. Not a month. Morning. Warning. Izuku said, his voice light with amusement. He reached over, grabbing a Hot Pocket from the pan. It was hot, as expected, and Izuku dropped it back down onto the pan with haste. Hitoshi raised an eyebrow. Hungry? Yeah, Izuku admitted with a laugh. Can I trust you not to burn yourself while I change into my pajamas? Hitoshi asked teasingly. Izuku rolled his eyes in response. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be cooled down by the time you're back. Hitoshi said, no. Hitoshi smiled as he turned, walking back towards his bedroom. Izuku waited patiently for a few minutes, crouching down to pet Saiki, who came over to the stove when Hitoshi had taken out the food. He purred as Izuku ran his hand down his fluffy tan back. Saiki darted between Izuku's legs, occasionally sitting down and raising a paw to smack at Izuku's hand. Izuku lifted his hand when Saiki tried each time. He had enough scars on his hands and arms. He did not need more. I think he likes you more than me, Hitoshi said. He was standing by the doorway to the kitchen, his arms crossed, and an easy smile on his face as he watched Izuku. Izuku stood up, leaving Saiki to headbutt his leg again, attempting to score more pets. I doubt it. He just knows that whenever I show up, he gets someone else to bother for scratches. Hitoshi laughed at that. He is greedy, he said, walking into the kitchen. Saiki paddled across the floor to him, jumping on his hind legs, the front ones braced against Hitoshi's thighs. Hitoshi smiled softly, scratching behind Saiki's ear. Aren't you? He cooed. Saiki meowed, though whether he was agreeing or not is unknown, because neither Izuku nor Hitoshi speak cat. Give me a second. I need a breather. Oof. I am tired today. Oof. I think I'm gonna take a break after I do this. I'm tired. And I just heard Storm in the other room drop something. I need to apologize to my mom. Because I'm raising a cat, and that shit's hard. And I can't even imagine if it was an, why did I do that? 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 I dipped my finger in wax again. Ooh, that one really burns. Look at that. I did it again. I need to stop. This is a problem. But it comes off so coolly. Look at that. Okay. Back to reading before I burn my fingers. Let's see if it cooled down. Let's see if it cooled down yet, Izuku proposed, turning to face the oven. He wiped his hands on his pants, ridding them of as much cat hair as he could. He picked up a hot pocket, pleased to find that it was cool enough to bite into. Hitoshi reached for his own, picking it up from the pan. Finally, he murmured. I want to eat, then go to sleep, he said, voice low. What time did you get up this morning? Izuku asked. 4:30, he replied, sighing. Izuku put a hand on his shoulder, giving it a little squeeze. I'm fine, Hitoshi said. I've slept less before. I just want to go to bed now, since I have to be up early tomorrow morning for patrol again. Izuku gave a nod, and side by side, the pair quietly ate. Partway through, Hitoshi leaned on Izuku, his head on the latter's shoulder as he finished off his hot pocket. Izuku threw his arm around Hitoshi, running his fingers gently through Hitoshi's hair as Izuku finishes his own dinner. Come on, he said softly, removing his hands from Hitoshi's hair. Let's go to bed. Hitoshi grumbled, something in reply. Following along, as Izuku walked towards his bedroom, Saiki seemed to know what time it was, as he was quick to follow along behind Izuku. Hitoshi plopped down on the side of his bed, letting himself face-plant into his pillow before rolling off onto his back. Where'd all that energy you had 10 minutes ago go? Izuku teased. He sat down on the edge of the bed, then slid closer, laying down beside Hitoshi. Saiki jumped up onto the bed, wedging himself underneath Izuku's arm, right between the pair. Don't know, Hitoshi said, rolling onto his side. Facing Izuku, he curled up, knees raising closer to his chest as he closed his eyes. Izuku scooted Saiki so he could lay facing Hitoshi, letting the other man nuzzle his face into the crook of Izuku's neck. Saiki huffed and tried again, waiting until the pair settled to fit himself onto the gap between their stomachs. Night, Izuku said quietly. Hitoshi mumbled something into the side of Izuku's neck, his eyes long since closed. Izuku smiled to himself, lifting a hand to run it across Hitoshi's back. Saiki's quietly purring, and Hitoshi's soft breathing dragging him down to a comfortable sleep. Ending 3C. I'll be honest with you, I zoned out after they ate that Hot Pocket. I zoned out. I zoned out so hard. So fucking hard. Anyways, that was actually really interesting. I really enjoyed that. That was so fun. I like that. Okay. I need to finish reading what Kingston said at the end, because there is something that that Kingston sent me that I need to read after I read the thingy. But me and Kingston text like fucking lunatics. There they are. I suggest you did not read. I already read that. Fun fact, this would be 18 chapters long if I took away the clothing options. Maybe I should. Fun fact number 2, if you squint, there are 3 Togachaka references through this fic. 2 are very vague. One is, I think I figured one out. If you want the chapters 2, 3, 4, 11, and 32. Fun fact 3, there is a reference in this fic to an AO3 author who wrote a very silly Togachaka crack fic that I like. Oh, really? I didn't know that. If you want the chapters, it's in 26, 28, and 30, aka Museum Movie Date. Oh, I didn't do that one. Yeah, no wonder. Fun fact 4, I used my middle name for a character in one of the routes because I thought it'd be a funny reference that only I get. Middle name in the same way that your middle name is Rainstorm. Kingston, who told you my middle name is Rainstorm? People assume that's my last name. Find it if you want. Just let me know if you want what the fuck? Sorry, Storm just got... Okay. If you want a hint, let me know if you want a hint. It only appears in one route, and it's obvious if you know my middle name. You don't know it, but Leafy does. Lol. But he's a dope dude. I love this random-ass dude who I gave my middle name. Okay. Fun fact 5. Hitoshi's cat, Saiki, whom you saw if you went to Hitoshi's apartment, is based off one of my cats, Carmen. Yes, like Eric Carmen from South Park. He's a very big boy. I sent a picture if you want. Fun fact 6. The UA clothes, see chapter 38, 39, 40, were just what I was wearing in the moment I wrote that. Mine just says something different in blue text, not UA. Fun fact, small beta read this entire fic alone, including these notes. I don't know why she did, but I feel bad for her mental state, LMAO. Thank you again, Small, aka Small Storm on AO3. I love this. You've actually inspired me to write two choose your own adventure fanfictions. You freaking fat ass. Stop it. Anyways, one is one that I'm gonna have a lot of fun writing. So far, there is 13 parts or chapters in it. And I'm only in the beginning of the story. I'm in the beginning of the story, and I'm not even anywhere remotely close to being completely done. Those are my leaves! Why would you... Not my leaves, my seeds! Why would you throw my seeds on the floor? And he only threw one. What's wrong with these? Why does he hate these? Freaking... Okay. Anyways, as I was saying... but yeah, I have 13 parts so far, and I already have it. That one's gonna have bad endings, by the way. I already have it where if you choose one thing, and it's towards the beginning, you choose it, and you basically chose the bad ending. Leave my flowers alone! No, he's not going after the seeds. He's going after... You could see the shadow moving because he just hit my dead flower bouquet that, mind you, is actually worth like $70, $80. Oh my fucking god. Stop it. Storm. Stop it. Stop it. You need to get help. This is not healthy, dude. This is not healthy. You're... This is not healthy. Okay. Give me a second. Back. Sorry. There was noises happening that you are not able to hear. Anyways, that one, and I am partially thinking of turning the fic that I'm writing for you, Kingston, into a choose your own adventure, mainly because originally that story was a choose your own adventure. It wasn't a fanfic or a story. It was a type of thing that I was going to do with this different type of media. Anyways, but unfortunately that failed, and it was supposed to be a choose your own adventure, and I was having so much fun with it, so I might turn it back into a choose your own adventure. And I think that would be super fun to do. A choose your own adventure kind of situation, which would be super fun. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.